How's it going, everyone? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you for supporting the channel and making this channel possible. We are slowly creeping up on 500 subs. The channel has grown slightly bigger since my last video, which was, I believe, this morning in the form of a short. But anyway, thank you guys for helping this channel to grow. If you want to continue to support the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and comment in the comments section below. And also, if you want to support the channel, I'm currently selling 2023 Topps Mitchell & Ness Lids baseball cards under the eBay account, the Carolina Collector 001. I appreciate some of you guys that have messaged me. One of you actually sent me a message through eBay Messenger saying, you know, what you're doing on your YouTube channel is a godsend. You're doing God's work. Well, I don't know about that, but, you know, I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you guys for being my customers. You know, I really try my best to make you guys happy. And, you know, it does cost me quite a bit of money to get them cards. I actually have, I think, about 40 or 50 more coming at this point. And I'm negotiating right now with a couple sellers to get the price to come down so I can get more. But eventually I'm going to have to stop because, I mean, even though I am making some money back from those card sales, it is starting to become a little bit of a financial burden. Especially, I got into the Topps drop, I guess, or the Topps countdown, or whatever the hell you want to call it on their website. I was able to secure a jumbo hobby box of Bowman 2024, and also I was able to get one through Fanatics. So I got two jumbo hobby boxes of Bowman on their way, and when they come, I'll probably do two separate videos because there's a lot of packs and a lot of cards to go through. I'm going to have to look up some checklists and some of the key players that are in that set, and also what type of refractors to expect in autos and stuff like that. So, but anyway, that's what's to come. But thank you guys that have been helping to support the channel in that way. So with each card purchase, I end up putting that money off to the side. I either use it for my personal use or I buy more cards to rip open for you guys so that you can have something to watch and enjoy. I love ripping those card packs. One of you asked if I'm going to be selling the refractors. I want to make a separate video of my refractors first before I make any kind of decisions about me selling any raw cards or slabs that I have. But I'll get into that as the future comes about. So before I begin this video, I got myself a nice ice cold can of Harris Teeter seltzer water here, #diet. Don't be a fatty chum chum. You got people out there telling you that being fat is healthy. No, it's not. I lost 75 pounds. I'm down to 205 at this point. So being fat is not healthy. So cheers, everybody, as Guga Foods would say. Okay. Now that we're past all that, I want to make a little bit of a disclaimer. This is part 2 of an experiment video concerning Kurt's Card Care. Now, I was using Kurt's Card Care for a while, and I have since stopped using it for reasons which I've already made clear. But for the sake of this video, just to keep everybody up to date, I have since stopped using it. Though I tend to disagree with some things that certain content creators say and do on their channels, I am here to criticize the product, not the man. There are certain people that are out there that are really saying a lot of horrific things about Kurt, that could be slanderous, libelous, and potentially become a legal issue. Now, I don't know Kurt from a hole in the wall, and until I see him on the news, I don't know, going into a school and doing horrific things, I'm not going to be specific because YouTube may get butthurt for that, or do inappropriate things with our most innocent victims. I'm not going to say what that means. I think you can infer and deduce what I'm talking about. Unless he's done some horrific criminal act, I'm not going to refer to him in any negative way because, quite frankly, he's done nothing to me. I have no negative words for him because, quite frankly, I don't know the man. I'm here to criticize the product. And I was using it until Sports Card Radio, though them guys, man, they're off the hook sometimes. They're funny, though. But, they do make some good points with some of their arguments, and they raised an argument in one of their live streams saying, what's in this stuff? What's in the juice? What's in the paste? So, to me, from just observing it alone, it has the paste has a very almond-like smell. The spray, I still can't put my finger on it, what it smells like, but there is some sort of chemical in it. I don't know what chemical it is. I have no idea. I'm not a chemist. I also have to make this clear. I'm not a chemist. I don't have a degree in chemistry. The experiment that I committed myself to is just based on common sense. With iron, for example, if you allow iron to come in contact with water, what's going to happen? It's either the iron's going to rust, or it's going to corrode, or it's going to oxidize. It's the same effect as if you cut an apple in half and you let it sit there for a while. What's going to happen? The apple on the inside is going to turn brown because it doesn't have the skin to protect the inside anymore. Once the skin on an apple is compromised, that's it. So I am here to test the product, not to disparage the man, because he's done nothing to me, and there's no evidence to support any type of nonsense that a lot of people have been saying about him. I mean, some of the things that people are saying about him are just horrific. I mean, it's quite disturbing how the internet has allowed people to become cyberbullies. Yeah, you could poke fun at people, but there's a point where it does become potentially dangerous when you start making things up about people, whether it's slander or libel, and there are laws on the books to support that. So I'm here to test the product, not the man. And as you men and women out there know, you ladies and gents, I've committed myself to 3 different experiments, 2 of which I showed on camera, 1 I did in the form of a short, which we're going to reveal the results right now. And you're going to be shocked as to what you see. So the first item I'm going to show you is this pair of channel locks, or vice grips, or you can call them whatever you want to call them. And these have been sitting in my kitchen or in my dining room for some time. And this was Kurt's paste, his polish. And it's dried. There's no rust, no oxidation, no corrosion of any kind. You can see where that big gob is. And you can actually compare the video I did, part 1 of this video, and compare all of this to how I actually spread this stuff on the items that you're going to see in this video. And here are the... Oops, again, this thing has been such a pain in my rear today. Because it's obviously bigger than this little tray. But there is no rust, no corrosion, no oxidation of any kind. That also goes for those coins. And at this point, I think all right, that thing has been wanting to escape all morning. You have no idea. And you can see how it flakes off. So I'm just going to pour these out here. There's no corrosion. As a matter of fact, all of this stuff that you see here is all dried up. It's all dried up. And you can see some of the flakes in there. Dried up. There's no rust, no corrosion, no oxidation of any kind. Actually, surprisingly, all 4 of these coins landed face up. Maybe I should play the lottery. But yeah, there's no corrosion, no oxidation, no anything. And then, if you guys watched a short concerning this subject where I decided, let's test it on a card if I would have put a whole lot of it on. This is the Rafael Devers card I sacrificed in that short. And this has been sitting there all these days. And as you can see how it dried, that it turns into like this flaky mess. Now, I really haven't touched it yet, but I am going to clean all of this stuff off using a microfiber cloth, which I have off camera here. So there's no corrosion, no rust. Now, if there is any dirt or anything, that's probably just because of the pre-existing stuff on here. Again, I'm not a scientist. I don't have a degree in chemistry or anything like that. This is just common sense stuff based on common knowledge. When it comes to rain and liquids on certain metals and surfaces, that surfaces can either oxidize or literally corrode through rust. So here's all that dried up, crusty Kurt's card care. And I'm just going to wipe it off. Now, again, if there's any dirt or anything, that's because it was pre-existing. But I can tell you, with it sitting here for a while, and I'm using a brand new microfiber cloth, I mean, you really have to like dig onto the surface to get that dried up stuff off of there. So again, I'm having to like really use a lot of force to like, I'm actually digging my fingernail onto the surface of these pliers, and you can see there's still a little bit of it on there. And now I'm going to wipe this off, and you can see there's still hints of it right there and right there and on the tip. Now again, I encourage you guys to go back and watch the first part of this video that I did, so that this way you can compare where I put the compound on these materials versus now, so that this way you have a frame of reference for context reasons. And here I am again. Now I'm using my thumb, and I am right-handed. I'm putting an excessive amount of force on there, and you can see that there's still clumps of that paste on there, and that's significant. And I'll tell you why once I'm done cleaning these. We'll go to one of the coins here. Let's go to this, go to this quarter right here. And I'm going to try to, just by hand, quite liberally, go into town on it. And you can still see a lot of that compound is still on there. That's Kurt's Card Care's compound. And again, I'm going to just, again, gradually and with a lot of force, try to get that stuff off of there. And there you have it. It's still on there. I mean, a lot of, on the thinner areas, excuse me, the thinner areas, I'm getting tongue-tied again, because as you guys know, I don't script my videos, and I like to be honest with my opinions and my assessments and things like that, so I tend to get tongue-tied. But just like with that wrench, you can see all of that stuff on there that has not come off. So let's try this screw with that compound that's on there. Now again, this is just a rough, very rough experiment. And it's not going to disprove anything. It's not going to prove anything. It's just, you know, a theory that I'm going to present to you guys once I get done with this portion of the video as to what I think happens with this stuff, and only in extreme circumstances. So you see that screw, the screw head, you see the threads, there's no rust, no nothing, you know. So put that off to the side. Here's one of those drill bits. I believe this is 5/16. If I'm not mistaken, no, it's 3/8. I'm sorry. This is a 3/8 screw bit. So this is for making up bolts into wood framing and stuff. So again, going to give it a nice wipe. Now there might be a little pre-existing rust and dirt on this, because this has been sitting out there, and as you can see, just with a dry microfiber cloth as is, you still see bits and chunks of Kurt's Card Care on there. And again, I'm going to dig my thumb in there just to get that off of the imprint. And as you can see, even inside that 3/8 imprint, I can't really get it off, and I'm really digging my thumb in there. So there's still residue left on that. I'll go to this bimetal bit now. I have to watch because I might cut my fingers, because bimetal bits will go right through material like this and cut me like a razor, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to have to spin the bit, so to speak. And again, you can see there's going to be residual dirt left over, but again, on that surface of the drill bit, I'm going to try to, without cutting myself or stripping my thumb in any way, there's still compound on there. And I'm really like giving it a run for its money. So again, still dried compound. I think you guys are beginning to see a pattern here. Here's a really good example we're going to try. This is that penny And we're going to give this a nice wipe. And see what happens. So, and as you can see, there's a little bit of corrosion on there. Or I should say oxidation. The penny did change a little bit. Now remember, pennies in most currency are alloys, which means that they're a mix of metals. So there's probably copper and nickel, maybe magnesium. I don't know exactly what the contents are of our coinage, but you can see there's a little bit of corrosion right there. Now, I don't remember if that was on there prior to this video or not, because I did not watch my own video, but this penny was a good subject to test because of all the usage and scratching on it. So whatever's contained on the outside of this particular penny would be exposed to Kurt's Card Care. So if there is any type of corrosive metal mixed into this alloy, you would see it. And again, I'm trying to clean the face, and it's maybe because of the texture of the coin why there's still compound in there that I can't really get to it. I'm going to try to dig my fingernail in there and see what happens. So there's still a little residual on there, but it's the back that's really revealing. So you guys would have to go back. I mean, there's still some residual compound on there too, just like with the other stuff. But again, I'm really going to town on that thing. It looks like most of it came off, if not almost all of it. There's still little traces of it. I'm not sure if that is oxidation or not. I don't know because, again, I didn't go back to watch the previous video. So here's the drill, another bit that I got. This is a tamper-proof bit that's got Kurt's compound on there. And again, I'm doing my best. And there's still little bits of it on there that just crusted up and just, with a dry microfiber, will not come off. Most of it came off. I mean, there's a little residual dirt, but I think that's just because of the bit itself. From sitting out all these days from your typical normal oxidation from being exposed to the elements. But there's still little hints of it on this bit. So I think you guys are beginning to see a pattern. I don't think it really pays to continue to go through the rest of this stuff here because I want to get to that card, because I think the card is really what's most important. And again, you could still see some of that compound on there. Now again, I'm going to go to town on this nickel just like I did on everything else, and there were still little chunks. Yeah, you can see right in the middle right here, there's still some of Kurt's Card Care on there. Again, I'm going to just and there's still some on there. See right there? That's still Kurt's Card Care. So we're going to take a look at this Raphael Devers because I am doing what I can to get this stuff off, but it is so tenacious once it's on there. And that's not scarring on the coin. That's Kurt's Card Care. As a matter of fact, just to prove a point, I'm going to take my fingernail. See? That's the compound. Crusted up and dried up. So I think you guys should be already making some conclusions based on this. So I'm not going to go any further because this video is going to get too long. What really matters is this Raphael Devers card. Let's see what happens after leaving a card sitting, in an open area, like if it was your dining room table or your desk or in your garage, and you put a ton of Kurt's Card Care on there and you forgot to wipe it and you have something like this. Let's see what happens. And you really like it gets like waxy and pasty. And still, Let me switch. Oops. Again, forgive me for the shaky cam. Let me go get another microfiber cloth, because I don't want these results to be tainted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a brand new orange microfiber cloth, so that this way I have a fresh base to work off of. And so this is concerning. This is very concerning because it's solidified. Whatever was up on top of the card, I mean, I'm really like, that top layer I was able to get off, but now I'm like really putting excessive force on this card. And to you guys that are panicking about the card in and of itself, I wouldn't worry about it, because I've got plenty of these Rafael Devers cards, so I'm not really worried about sacrificing it for you guys. But I'm really putting some force on here, and this is brand new, out of the package, this microfiber cloth. I mean, you really have to dig to get this compound off. So if you leave it for too long, it does solidify, and that's a concern, because let's just say if you used Kurt's Card Care on an expensive refractor and you left this stuff on there, I mean, you're going to have to sit there and risk scratching your card to get this stuff off. Now, you saw what it looked like before, and I'm putting an extreme amount of force on this thing. That's why the camera is shaking, because I'm literally like leaning into my camera stand just to rub this stuff off of here. Now, I'm going to give this thing a little bit of a spit shine. I mean, literally throw a little bit of spit on this card to see if maybe if I can get it to be active again with... I don't want to put it nowhere near my mouth, because again, we don't know what's in this stuff. Or I can actually do this. You know what? I got a little seltzer water here. I'm going to try not to touch. This is going to go right in the laundry, this thing. I don't want this thing coming in contact with anything, because I don't know what's in it, or I just might throw it away. Because I know that it's an old wives' trick to use seltzer water on things to get stains out. So let's see if that works even. I mean, I'm just guessing here. I don't know. Does liquid of any kind reactivate this compound? I mean, I'm really, really going to town on this thing. You know, there's potential for me to scratch this card. I mean, even though I'm using a brand new, right out of the bag, microfiber cloth with Topps Chrome, I've seen that if you put too much force on a microfiber cloth, you can actually embed some scratches into the surface of the card. And even then, there's still compound on there. Look, you can see it right there. Those aren't print lines. That's compound. And you can see a lot of it right there. Those are not scratches. That's Kurt's Card Care. So what can we conclude from this? I mean, again, let me just do this one more time for the sake of experimenting and for my viewers. Because, oops, again, forgive the shaky cam, because I'm really putting a lot of force on this thing. And again, I'm using seltzer water. I just, spit into this thing to see what would happen. And now I'm using seltzer water. I might just go into my bathroom and grab some rubbing alcohol to see what would happen. And yeah, there's still... Come on. Yeah, there's still compound lines. All those little gobs of air, you can see right there in this corner where my index finger is on my left hand. That is not, these are not print lines. That's Kurt's compound. That's all Kurt's compound. Those are not scratches. All of this here, that's all Kurt's compound. Hasn't come off. Over here in the Topps Chrome logo, that's compound. That's why in his videos he says don't let it sit for too long. It solidifies. You saw that on most of those things there. You're seeing it on this card here. Now I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to get some rubbing alcohol. So, all right, so I got me, for the sake of transparency, 91% isopropyl alcohol here. I'm going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol on the microfiber and just give it a dab. All right, got some rubbing alcohol on there, and again, I'm going to turn the card, and forgive the shaky cam if the camera starts to shake. I'm going to go right into those areas where Kurt's compound is to see if the rubbing, and this is pretty strong alcohol too, 91% is fairly strong, so it should, and at least I believe it will take all this stuff off. Let's see here. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I wish I would have used, in hindsight, a black cloth of some type, like a black cotton rag from like an old t-shirt, so we can see if there's any residual, stuff. It looks like the rubbing alcohol did the trick to get this stuff off of here. And I'll be honest with you, with my past sales, I've actually, whatever cards I know that I had used Kurt's compound on, I actually went back on it with alcohol. But I haven't had to do it in this capacity. I mean, there's still little traces of rubbing of Kurt's compound on there. Come on, focus. Right there. So what does that tell us? If you put this stuff on lightly, like what he shows in his videos, there's potential for it to solidify inside print lines and stuff like that. But now if this stuff sits for too long, and this is the conclusion to what I think, it's definitely not a corrosive, at least in my opinion. But let's just say if you want to get these cards slabbed and you send them to PSA or SGC, and if they sit there for too long, you can see how Kurt's card care tends to solidify like it did. The best example of it is right here on this pair of pliers or channel locks or this wrench. You guys call it whatever you want. I don't care about nitpicking at this point in time, but look at all that stuff that's still on there. And that's just from using a microfiber cloth. Imagine that on one of your expensive cards, that stuff is on there. Look what it took for me to get most of it off. And when I was using it, I would only put a thin layer on there. I did exactly like what he did in his videos. Put a thin layer on, clean it off immediately, and that's it. In this case, forgive me for the background noise, landscapers are here again today. There's still residual. After using super strong 91% isopropyl alcohol, there's still compound on there. So what does that tell us? Over the long haul, I'm sorry to say, if you use too much product and you happen to leave it on one of your expensive cards, you may potentially have issues getting the stuff off. And it may turn yellow or brown or a tan type color like what you saw prior to me cleaning this off. There's just too many risk factors using Kurt's card care that, in my opinion, unless it's for your own PC, I really wouldn't recommend using this stuff if you're going to slab your cards. You want to use it on your own PC, you're free to do what you want. Again, I'm not here to disparage the man. I'm here to criticize the product. And this is why I don't use it anymore, because this card, I intentionally smeared a whole lot of it on there and left it. And you saw what it took for me to get that stuff off. And there's still stuff here. There's still a little bit up here, too. And along this border, there's still little hints of it. It's not worth it, guys. I mean, you want to use it for your PC. You spend your money. You are free to do what you want with your things, just like I'm free to do what I want with my things. If you want to use Kurt's Card Care for your PC or your personal use, you have that right. For someone that slabs his cards like myself or buys slabbed cards, I really would not recommend using this product on there, only because if it solidifies like the way it did with this card, who knows? It may change color. You see all of this. This is all Kurt's Card Care. All of this crust that you see here, all these crumbs, that can get into your slabs. It's just not worth it. So my conclusion to this experiment is, and again, I'm not a chemist or anything. I'm no experiment. I'm no expert. Excuse me. I'm not claiming to be an expert. What I'm trying to say is that it's not worth it if you're going to slab your cards to have this stuff on there, because this can happen. But then again, I exaggerated this experiment by clumping it on these coins and on these screws and drill bits. And you can see right here what happened on this quarter. You still got residual Kurt's Card Care on there, which you see right there. To me, it's too much of a risk to use on your cards. On your PC, that's fine. You want to use it on your PC, you do what you want. It's your money, your stuff. You're free to do that. But if you're going to slab your cards, or if you're going to submit them to SGC or PSA or Beckett or whoever it is, I would not risk it, because this right here, what you see here, you don't want that. Neither do I. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to attack Kurt. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I could probably sit down and have a beer with him. So I'm not here to disparage the man. I am here to criticize the product. And these are my opinions based on this little experiment. This is in no way a conclusive answer to what goes on with this stuff if you leave it sit around for too long, or if your card is in a slab. But you have to make your own conclusions as to what you do with your stuff. For me, it's simply not worth it. And again, I would encourage Kurt to include an ingredients list and let the public know what's in your compound. And listen, people are going to copy your stuff. Listen, how many different frying pans are there? And how many different patents are there for reinvented frying pans? You know, even the automobile, how many different cars have all these different patents? You know, so you're just going to have to let the public know what's in your stuff. You're going to have to include an ingredients list and some sort of toxicology warning on your product as to if there is any type of chemical in it, what's in it. You have to let us know. So for me, I will continue not using this product on my sales or with my orders. And it's unfortunate that it's got to this point. For me, it's not worth it. And that's that. So, but again, it's all up to you. You do what you want with your stuff. I'll do with my stuff what I please, because it's my money. But for my customers, it's simply not worth it to apply this stuff to any cards that I sell, because there's too much risk and too much danger. And now that this happened, where you see all of these crumbs and crust, I won't use it. So I'm not going to tell anybody what to go do with themselves. You want to use this stuff, you do it. I'm not going to use it anymore. If you want to use it on your PC, that's fine. I'm not going to use it on my PC. And I'm definitely, when I slap my cards or submit my cards to SGC or PSA or whoever it is I plan on submitting my cards to, I will not use this product. I stopped using it weeks ago, and I will continue not to use it. Now, again, I'm not attacking Kurt. I just want to make that clear. Excuse me. This is a criticism of the product. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, draw up your own conclusions. I'm sure that you are all grown adults and capable of critical thinking. Make up your own damn minds what you think. This is just my way of proving a point that sometimes you have to see with your own two eyes instead of what people put out there on the internet. You can't believe everything you see and hear until you actually go through the motions like this, like what I did. And for me, there's just too much evidence to support my opinion that I will no longer use this product. It's that simple. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that these results were what they were, but it's up to you to decide. It's your money. You want to use it, go ahead. But if you're going to sell these cards and flip them on eBay or wherever else, or you're going to submit them to PSA or SGC, be a little honest. Don't try to do an end around. You know, you're going to piss off a lot of people in the hobby. You're going to piss off a lot of collectors, and you don't want to do that. This product is too controversial to me, in my opinion. But it's your stuff to do as you please, and that's that. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, take care. God bless. Stay safe. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Until next time, God bless, and I will see you soon.